Little Miss Nobody, a 60-year-old child murder that no one knew. On a sweltering afternoon in July 1960, just outside Congress, Arizona, a man walking a dirt trail made a grim discovery. Half buried in the sand was the decomposing body of a young girl. She was dressed in a simple blouse and shorts. Her fingernails were freshly painted red, but she had no name, no identification. No one knew who she was. Police called her Little Miss Nobody. At the same time, hundreds of miles away in Alamogordo, New Mexico, a small family was in crisis. Sharon Lee Gallegos, just 4 years old, had been abducted from outside her grandmother's home. It was July 21st, 1960. Sharon had been playing with her cousins when a strange woman approached. Witnesses said she tried to lure Sharon with offers of new clothes and toys. Before anyone could intervene, Sharon was gone, kidnapped in broad daylight. Her family filed a report. Local police began searching, but with no car plates, no clear leads, and no national system to share data, the case went cold. 10 days after Sharon vanished, her body was found in Arizona. At the time, law enforcement did not connect the two events. The body was too decomposed for a definitive identification. They estimated the girl was around 6 years old. Sharon was 4. And so, the remains were listed as unidentified and buried in a local cemetery under the name Little Miss Nobody. The town mourned quietly. Volunteers donated for her burial. A small headstone was placed with the words, "Blessed are the pure in heart." Despite the shocking nature of the discovery, no suspect was named. No cause of death could be officially determined due to the state of the body. There were no fingerprints, no physical evidence, and no technology advanced enough to link the girl to a family. Over time, her story faded. Sharon's disappearance was barely remembered outside New Mexico. And in Arizona, Little Miss Nobody became a haunting legend, a child whose story no one could finish. The only suspect ever mentioned was an unknown woman with reddish hair seen around the Gallegos home before Sharon vanished. Witnesses reported she had asked about Sharon days before the kidnapping. Some say she was accompanied by a man, but no arrests were made. And as the decades passed, both time and memory eroded the case. Little Miss Nobody remained a cold case, and Sharon's name faded into old police files. Then, in 2021, a forensic genealogy nonprofit stepped in. They obtained DNA from the remains of Little Miss Nobody, still buried in Arizona. Through advanced genetic tracing and family trees, they made a breakthrough. In March 2022, Sharon Lee Gallegos was finally identified. The little girl who vanished in New Mexico had been buried all along in Arizona. The world finally had a name. A family finally had closure. But the revelation came with no justice. No one has been arrested for Sharon's murder. The woman in the green car was never found. No new leads have emerged since her identification. All that remains is a grave with a new plaque and a story that went silent for 62 years. Some crimes make headlines. Others get documentaries and podcasts. But some, like Sharon's, slip through the cracks. Overlooked, unsolved, nearly forgotten. Little Miss Nobody was more than a nickname. It was a symbol of how easy it is to lose the truth when no one is looking. Now, thanks to technology and persistence, Sharon's name is known again. But the person who took her never faced a courtroom. Justice was never served. This was a crime the world didn't notice until it was too late.